Hello and welcome to Quartzlight, your car brochure channel. In today's episode, we'll be looking at the 1987 Renault 5. Welcome back, and if you're new to Quartzlight, we're a car brochure channel here on YouTube looking at car brochures from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s. So if you're interested in cars and car brochures, please consider subscribing. Anyway, back to today's episode where we've been looking at this full range, I know it's very small, full range Renault brochure for 1987, and we're up to the Renault 5, which surprisingly wasn't the first vehicle in the brochure. So I think what we'll do, we'll jump straight into that now. So the front cover, Renault 21, and yep, tiny little brochure. We'll zoom in a moment when we get to the right page. Last week we looked at the 9 and 11, which was weirdly the first cars in this brochure, and that takes us up to the Renault 5. So let's zoom in on some of these images and some of this text. So here we go, this is our first Renault 5. Renault 5, must admit, one of my favourite designs for a small car. Much preferred these than what replaced it, the Clio. This was a far nicer design, in my opinion anyway. It actually tells us that this is the Renault 5 GTL, so one of the better spec models. So, you know, later on we could only get the Renault 5 Campus, remember, when the Clio came out. But at this time there was quite a wide range of models, and we'll certainly see that in the text. Maybe we'll try and zoom in on that dashboard. It's only very small, but let's see what we can do. That is a look at that interesting dash, and very interesting dash. I can't clear it any more than that because it's just such a small picture, but an interesting dashboard. These Renault 5s, I liked all the Renault 5s, but I did prefer the earlier Renault 5s, and the earlier Renault 5s, instead of having this sort of conventional gear lever on the floor there, actually had a lever coming out the dash. Very French, but overall I preferred the very early ones, and I preferred the overall look of the early ones, but still I do like this design of the later ones as well. Like I said, this is 1987, but we didn't just get just ordinary Renault 5s at this time. We also got this, kind of like the Renault 5 you aspired to own, the Renault 5 GT Turbo, and it tells you a little bit about it in the text, so we'll have a look at that in a moment. But it really was the model you aspired to have. I think a lot of people used to like the the Peugeot 205 1.9 GTI, but I always preferred these. I think there was a far nicer looking and more interesting design overall, I think. And what a dramatic little image this, of this illusion of speed. And we also noticed with these ones, you can see where the door handle is like recessed in there. That actually differed from the other one, if you remember. Sort of like these more standard door handles on this 5-door model. So there we go, the Renault 5. The sleek new Renault 5s all have equipment and comfort to luxury levels, including an in-car audio system. 4 engine sizes cover the range: 956cc on the Renault 5 TC, 1108cc on the TL, 1397cc on the 5 GTL, 5 automatic, 5 TSE, 5 GT Turbo and 1595cc diesel 5 GTD. Most have 5-speed gearboxes. 5-door versions are available on the 5TL, 4 or 5-speed, and the 5 GTL, which is that picture which was illustrated earlier, and 5 Auto. Then it kind of like talks about a couple of the different models. It's kind of like highlighting, I guess. So we got this version first, which is the Renault 5 TSE with a top speed of 104 miles per hour and a fuel consumption of 56.5 miles per gallon at a constant 56 miles per hour. Has a level of luxury equipment as high as you could wish for, including a digital stereo radio cassette player, central door locking with remote control, tinted glass, electric front windows, and 60/40 split rear seats. So that was a nice spec Renault 5. You also got the performance model, of course, which we had a look at. The much acclaimed high-performance Renault 5 GT Turbo has a top speed of 125 miles per hour with a breathtaking acceleration of 0 to 60 in 7.2 seconds. And fabulous road holding with its alloy wheels, ultra low profile tyres, disc brakes all round, and 4 torsion bar rear suspension. And then on the back page, we've even got the van version where it's kind of like talking more about the commercial vehicles. Let's just zoom in on that one, I think. There we go. So when was the last time you saw a Renault 5 van? Very simple van, you know, the back window is just solid. And no seats in the back, obviously. But when was the last time you actually saw one of these? Must be a very rare car. I wonder how many are left in the UK now. When you can notice there, again, the Fredo model with that more basic handle system. It does tell you a little bit about it in the text as well. So the Renault 5 van, at last a small van version of the popular Renault 5 Saloon, ideal for the local service engineer. Mechanically similar to the Saloon, the 5TL van has an 1108cc petrol engine, the 5TD a 1595 diesel engine. Very economical to run with low fuel consumption, long service intervals and good all-round body protection. The Renault 5 van has 1.10 meters cubed of free carpeted load space. Driver comfort equals that of the car. So there we go, the Renault 5, certainly one of my favourite small hatchbacks of its time, and the GT Turbo was one of my favourite hot hatches of the time. So like I said, this brochure series is really just clip hits or short videos of the range. We'll certainly come back to the Renault 5, I'm sure, at another time, as we will do with all these cars in this series. But thank you so much for watching. If you've got any memories of the Renault 5, please jot that in the comments. They're always very interesting to read. Please do like and subscribe if you've not done already. But thank you so much for watching. Please do take care. We'll see you very soon. Goodbye.